Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain about the virtual virtual machines introduction. Virtualization is a process that allows multiple operating systems to run on a single physical computer by creating a virtual machines. Each virtual machine acts like a separate computers, even though it shares the same hardware resource such as CPU, memory, and storage. In this experiment, we took Windows 11 as the host OS and the Ubuntu 24.04 LTS is the guest operating system in Oracle VirtualBox. VirtualBox provides an virtual environment where Ubuntu can run independently without affecting the Windows. Next, this setup helps us to understand the memory shared between the host and guest system and how the performance of both systems can be compared in terms of CPU and process handling. Objectives. The main objectives of this assignment is to demonstrate the visualization using a virtual box. Understand how VirtualBox creates manages a virtual machine to run another OS on the same system, and to install and configure Ubuntu as a guest OS on Windows 11 host. Learn how to set up Ubuntu, allocate system resources, and optimize the performance using virtual settings and guest edition. To analyze performance and behavior of both OS, observe how each OS manages CPU, memory, and storage when virtual machine is running. To compare resource usage, process management, and file systems. Study how Windows and Ubuntu handle process and file differently within a virtualized environment.
Myself, Venkesham, explaining the tools and system requirements. This slide lists what is needed to run a virtual operating system. Host operating system. The main OS installed on your physical computer. Here it's Windows 11. Virtualization software. The software used to create and manage virtual machines. Oracle VirtualBox. Guest operating system. The OS that runs inside the virtual machines. Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, a version of Linux. Host machine configuration. Details of the physical computer. Processor Intel i5, RAM 8 GB, SSD 512 GB. In chart, this slides tells what computer setup and software are used to install Ubuntu virtually inside Windows using VirtualBox. They explain the experimental setup. This slide describes the steps taken to install and configure the virtual operating system. Installed Oracle VirtualBox on Windows 11. The virtualization software was set up on the main computer. Created a new virtual machine for Ubuntu. A virtual computer was made inside VirtualBox to install Ubuntu. Allocated resources: RAM 4 GB, CPU 2 cores, storage 50 GB virtual disk. Mounted Ubuntu ISO file and installed OS. The Ubuntu installation image was loaded into VirtualBox and the OS was installed like on a real computer. This slide explains how Ubuntu was set up and what resources it uses inside the VirtualBox. Together, these slides show how a virtual environment was created to run Ubuntu on a Windows 11 system using VirtualBox without replacing the main operating system. This is a common setup for experiments, development, or learning Linux safely. Thank you.
24 point, Ubuntu 24.04 LTS observation guest OS. This slide focuses on the performance and resources usage of the Ubuntu 24.04 LTS guest OS running inside VirtualBox. CPU scheduling uses the completely fair scheduler CFS. This system is designed to provide balanced CPU time sharing among all running processes. Memory usage very efficient. The system was observed using only 1.5 GB of RAM when idle. Process handling. Processes can be managed using both command line interface tool and graphical system monitoring. Performance. The system was lightweight and stable, showing low CPU usage 0 to 1% at idle. Visual data. The slide includes an image of the system monitoring showing numerous background processes like evolution calendar factory running with virtually 0.00% CPU usage, demonstrating the OS efficiency. Windows 11 observation. This slide details the performance and resource usage of the Windows 11 host OS running in the background. CPU scheduling uses a priority-based primitive scheduling mechanism. Tasks are run based on assigned priority level. Memory usage, heavier background load. The ideal memory usage was significantly higher at 3 to 4 GB. Process handling, primarily managed through the GUI based task manager, which provides categorized view of application and background process. Performance. Performance was user friendly, but consider resources heavy. The system showed moderate CPU 4% at idle. Visual data. The slide include an image of the Windows Task Manager showing higher resource usage with background process like anti-malware executable. Contribute to the 4% CPU and 57% load memory load. Thank you.
In this comparative explanation, we will talk about Ubuntu and Windows. In Ubuntu, it is fast and lightweight. It uses less CPU and RAM, good for programmers and servers. In Windows 11, it is easy to use and look modern and supports many apps and hardware. Uses more system resources like RAM and CPU. In another slide, we are talking about the performance comparison about Ubuntu and Windows 11. And this category, CPU scheduling, it uses completely fair scheduler. CPU time is set fairly. Another in Windows 11, it uses priority-based scheduling, like important tasks get more CPU. Another is the memory usage. It has low memory usage, like 1.5 GB when idle. In Windows 11, it has higher memory use, like 3 to 4 GB when it is idle. Another is process handling. In Ubuntu, handled using command line tools like PS and top and system monitor. In another Windows 11, handled using task manager with categories. In system resource usage, Ubuntu has less weight and less CPU and RAM required. In Windows 11, it is heavy and uses more CPU or RAM even when doing nothing. And both in another is user interface. In Ubuntu, it is simple and stable. In Windows, it is modern, attractive, and more graphic. And in overall performance, Ubuntu is more efficient and resource friendly. And Ubuntu, and sorry, Windows 11 is more resource and heavy, but feature rich.
Hi everyone, I am Dhanushri. I'm going to explain the configuration. What OS Windows 11? It means works best as the host operating system because it has strong hardware and support. It user friendly and stable for visualizations. This OS Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. It means works best as the best operating system because it is a uh, this is fixed and lightweightly uses as memory grade for multitasking and development. And we take the overall Windows 11 work as the host and Ubuntu as the guest. This efficiency virtualizes and allows multiple operating systems to run smoothly on one machine. Thank you.
So here is the Ubuntu 24.04 OS installed in a virtual box.